Hey everyone, welcome back to the VSO Gun Channel. It's great to have you here as always. Thank you for tuning in. We're starting the week out right with a fairly polarizing issue, if I do say so myself. There are people on both sides of the argument that will cross the lines when it comes to this issue and hold perspectives that you may not necessarily have assigned to them just by their political affiliation. What we're talking about is we're headed to the state of Tennessee, where Tennessee joins over 30 states at this point in time that allows teachers and faculty to carry weapons on campus. Now, again, this is a very polarizing issue, and I'm excited to hear what you guys have to say in the comment section down below. But we're going to break down the specifics of this particular legislation that was passed last week and signed into law. And also, I understand this is localized to the state of Tennessee, but I think this has large implications for the country as a whole. And I think that it's important that we bring that into focus, because I know that there are a lot of people on both sides that have very strong opinions about this that may not really have a background in firearms. So let's get after this after a word from our sponsor. Quick service announcement for all of y'all. We have now 2 discount codes prepped up for you guys over at Mission First Tactical. One is for the all day everything stuff, everything from their backpacks to their drinkware to the holsters to even the new translucent magazines that they just came out with. Really like the purple ones, by the way. And then a second code that is for everything that is getting ready to go away, about to be discontinued, the closeouts, if you will. Older backpack designs to their range bags, to their rifle cases, and even some of the larger drinkware items that didn't quite stick. That is going to be a rolling list that's going to change with time, but it's going to be like 50 or 60% off in many cases. So you can find all that information over at the affiliates page, and special thanks to Mission First Tactical for making today's video possible. Okay, I think that the best place that we can start on this is to just simply take a couple minutes and cut through the bullshit, because I have seen so much erroneous information published on this specific instance. It's staggering. And I think that really tells us 2 things. First, that the anti-forces are very well funded, definitely not very well organized or disciplined in this instance, but they have been able to put the rhetoric in all the right places to target the people they are fear-mongering to. But I think the second thing that really is very apparent is that there are real people out there who aren't political hacks that are very much concerned about this situation. And it is really to those people that I would like to really cut through the crap here, because I don't know what you've read, but there's, again, about half of the stuff that I have seen is just flat out a lie. So first off, there are no requirements of any school anywhere to put people in armed in your children's schools. Okay, there's no requirement. There are no quotas. There is no compulsion for any school anywhere within the state of Tennessee. If a teacher says, or a janitor, or a faculty member, the principal, whoever it is, says, hey, I want to carry a gun inside the school does not have to allow them to do that. The school does not have to be dragged into participation in the program by a single individual or even a group of individuals. It is district by district for them to decide for themselves. There are also no incentives put in place for participation. So for instance, like some places I've heard of treat it like a coaching position. Like they have a limited number of slots that can participate, and you get paid extra if you participate, just like if you were a coach. That's not what's going on in the state of Tennessee. So whoever wrote that crap, I have no idea where you came from, but that's not what's happening. That is nowhere found in the legislation. In fact, I might add, the way I read it, most of the things that are associated with being one of the people who can do this within these schools who choose to participate are all at the expense of the individual faculty member. And I would call that more of a deterrent to participation than really anything else. Also, what this is not is hey, I'm a teacher in this district. The district just said that we're going to start participating in this program. I have a gun at home. I'm just going to start stuffing it in my purse. No, that's not what this is. There are training requirements. There are psychological exams, background checks, all that sort of stuff, and training that is required to be able to participate. And of course, registration with law enforcement, all that sort of stuff. It is a collaborative effort with the local law enforcement. Washington, California, Hawaii, New Mexico, Nebraska, North Dakota, Wisconsin, Illinois, Louisiana, Alabama, North Carolina, Virginia, West Virginia, Maryland, that's Delaware, New York, that's Rhode Island, and Maine. Sorry about a couple of those little ones. Those are the states that say, no, we don't have a program that allows teachers to carry. And I would say that probably half of those never will. But some of those may eventually. Of the rest of the states that weren't named, probably half of those are you need permission from the school. The other half requires some kind of additional training or permit, something like that. So some kind of law enforcement gatekeep that's going on there. There's only one state, and that is the state of New Hampshire, that is no restriction. As far as the movement to arm teachers and harden the schools, I would say that of all the groups, Tennessee is in the group that is the most conservative about this. So, hey, smooth your roll, cool your jets. It's not as crazy as they're having you believe out there. There's clearly some law enforcement approval and interaction in the Tennessee program. If you thought otherwise, you have been lied to. All right, Kurt, well, how does this affect me? Well, I think there are several things that plug into this that we just simply don't have time to flesh out here, but I will focus on a few of them. I think the real world concerns of parents who are sending children to institutions of learning, whether those are private institutions or public institutions, have a legitimate concern because it used to be you sent your child to the institution of learning, and after the school day, you had a reasonable expectation that child would return home safe from the day of school. Well, the systems that are currently in place are failing to protect our children. Regardless of how you get it done, and regardless of the excuses of why it is not currently working, whether it's the not enough school resource officers, they're too expensive, or we don't need that stuff here, or we're just like, we don't like weapons, so we're not going to do it. The truth of the matter is that the schools need to be hardened one way or the other. And if that bothers you, I'm sorry, but that is, somebody needs to shake you and tell you that the reality of the situation is that the whole sensitive places framework that has been put into place and the Supreme Court has recognized as constitutionally legitimate needs to be rethought. Because the concept of sensitive places was built around accidents. As in, hey, maybe we don't have people carry their guns into the courtroom or the school or the whatever because it's going to be a densely populated place. And if somebody does something dumb and, finger bangs the bang hook on their handgun, it could discharge and hurt somebody. Yeah, that is a completely different situation than what we were talking about. We are talking about real evil. People wanting to come to that place and murder as many people as they can because they know that it's an easy target and they can perpetrate mass carnage with the least amount of pushback. When you put it in that frame of mindset, sensitive places sounds like a really, really stupid thing to do because these gun-free areas have advertised that they are killing grounds. You can come in here and do whatever you want until the cops show up and fix it. And now today, we have to be legitimately concerned on whether or not the cops are actually going to enter because it's happened. Homeschooling used to be a fringe concept. Like, that's kind of like what the weird people did. And the concern is like, oh, our kid's going to turn out socially awkward because he won't be socialized properly. Now, anybody who is legitimately considering homeschooling their children, I get you. Not least which to do with all the extra crazy crap that they're cramming in your heads, your child's heads, like Common Core math even. That was benign compared to the stuff that they're doing today. The safety aspect of things, the security aspect of things, absolutely. I understand any parent who wants to do homeschooling on those grounds alone. And the truth of the matter is there is just an impotent government that is not willing to deal with this issue because they say that it's too expensive or too complicated and all. No, it's really, really not. The reason that it's complicated is because you are trying to pander to people who do not have a logical brain that is functioning properly, period. The answer is that if somebody tries to come to a school and perpetrate evil against those children, they should never make it to the door. My high school had glass on the front of the school. Why the hell is that a thing? The only reason there should be glass on the front of the school is so that the security people inside the school can shoot out. But we're pacifists and we don't want our children with the wild weapons. And you are the type of person that makes me think that bringing back literacy and citizenship tests as a prerequisite to vote is a good idea. While you stick your head in the sand over here, the rest of us that recognize that this evil is being perpetrated and will continue to be perpetrated until we do something about it are going to have a cognitive discussion over here. The question is, should we arm the teachers? Is arming the teachers the answer? And I'm going to tell you no. The answer is not arming the teachers, at least as far as long-term is concerned. Because the ultimate solution is that no child anywhere should ever have to fear being murdered in their school. Because we as a people should protect our most precious resource, which is our children. It is not too expensive. In fact, if we had taken a fraction of the money that we wasted in a proxy war against Russia in Eastern Europe, we could fund putting a security person in every single classroom in the United States, private, public, and post-secondary education for 10 years. And then we can figure out the next solution 10 years from now. But for a state, for 30-something of our states to say, hey, we're not getting the support of our government that we need because they're willing to waste our tax dollars on other things that we don't actually need, well, we're going to put a stopgap in. And for the time being, we're going to arm our teachers. And hopefully that will be some kind of deterrent against crazy people that ought to be locked up coming into our school and perpetrating evil. I live in Ohio, and we have a similar program to this, and I'm all right with it. Because until we as a people come together and address this issue in a real way, until our leaders, and I use huge air quotes here, actually do something to address this problem instead of using it as a political bargaining chip, we only have stopgap measures, and this is what we have, and this is what we're going to use. So I want to know from you down in the comment section down below, what is your stance on arming the teachers? We are way over time, and I apologize if I got a little bit unhinged there because I'm starting to sweat, blood pressure going up on a Monday, because I know but I'm going to have to teach some kid calculus someday. I hate calculus. That's what computers are for.